Check, check. No, that looks like a bad mix, or it's really high gain. Probably really high gain. Let's try changing that. Check, check. That looks about right. Antler checking in. Bit loud. La 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 la. Still too loud, or is that about right, fellas? No, it's good. The fuzz is gone now. Okay. I turned the microphone input down from 100% down to 65% where I normally have it. For some reason, all of a sudden, on the Linux side, I started getting some weird USB messages, and my webcam's not working in Linux now either. So, much to the disappointment of Antler, my big giant head will only be available perhaps as a still photo. I don't know if I can pop up a portrait. This might shock everybody, but I don't know that I've got a lot of photos of myself to paste up.
Hi, Dad.
Well, hi, Donnie. How are you, buddy?
It's Friday, remember?
I know. I'm in the wrong chat channel. I got to switch over to LOTRO stream so you know who doesn't log in and get me in trouble.
Uh-huh.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm glad I got to say hi to you anyway. Did you want to say hi to everybody on LOTRO stream?
Hello, everybody.
There you go. That's my buddy Donnie. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, I'll talk to you sometime tomorrow.
Okay. And my other buddy Bacchus is here. Hello, Bacchus.
Is that coming through?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Ah, there we go. Good, good.
Glad I'm not the only one with sound problems.
Yeah, I was a little bit getting sound in Discord and sound in the stream and trying to like mute one and not the other. And yeah, it's higher grade stuff at this point in the morning for me.
Or maybe I should just make this my portrait picture. How does that look? It's my Airtronics SD10G. That is my favorite radio transmitter for my RC flying planes.
That does look nice.
That is
on
nice.
the live side, though.
Well, yeah, I know. It's a terrific radio, though. I really like it. Let's see if I can actually find a picture of me.
OneDrive is doing its thing again.
Interesting. I'm just not having much luck with anything tonight.
What's happening now?
Well, now I can't seem to pull up pictures off of my external Toshiba drive, which of course is connected via USB. I got this picture okay, but I can't get into the subdirectories.
Something wrong with the USB controller?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I was laughing because a couple of very high-profile tech tubers just posted videos about Asus motherboard suddenly becoming trash, and of course I have an Asus motherboard. Don't really suspect that it's a big problem, but there's just something wonky going on.
Is mine an Asus motherboard? I'm
Probably. Those things will blow up and kill your dog. You don't want to be running one of those.
Fortunately, I don't have a dog.
Well, if you did, it would be as good as dead. Pot and Finberry checking in, eating chocolate ice cream, chocolate and vanilla ice cream. Webcam is broke. It doesn't seem to be working. Every time I do this, Zinger thinks it's because I'm streaming naked and drinking Diet Pepsi, but I can assure you neither is true. I am decently attired, as any proper LOTRO streamer should be, and I am enjoying a crisp, refreshing, delicious Coke Zero.
I do, in fact, have an Asus motherboard.
Well, there you go. So, I have an ASRock motherboard. In Mrs. M's... No, Mrs. M has a Gigabyte board now. I've built and used a lot of ASRock motherboards, though. I've got a great little micro ATX B450 board I've used for probably 15 builds. Singer says, I won't tattle if you weren't. Thank you, Singer. Singer was a good cellmate. We had a strict don't kiss, don't tell policy. Or don't kiss and tell policy. Pont says, I only have an Asus monitor. Yeah, and the funny thing is Asus notebooks, Asus video cards, Asus everything else has been fine. But they've had a rash of motherboard mishaps lately. They had some Z690 boards where a capacitor got soldered in upside down. It was causing boards to catch fire. And if you've heard anything about the exploding Zen Ryzen 7800X chips, the new 8-core 3D V-cache chips, it's mostly attributable to Asus motherboards pumping too much voltage into the memory controllers, causing stuff to burn up. There were some other underlying causes, but Gamers Nexus did a series of really good videos, and then the last one was critiquing Asus's handling of the problem. They put out a beta BIOS saying that it should take care of the problem, but if you install this BIOS, because it's a beta BIOS, it'll void your warranty on your motherboard. And then they installed the beta BIOS on one of the boards that was blowing up chips, and it didn't fix the problem. They were still putting out too much voltage. So, yeah, I mean, it was a bit problematic, but for some reason it's that particular chip and that particular voltage issue, and they'll get it straightened out, but it's just annoying. Everybody was so excited for that chip to come out. It's, the fastest gaming chip. And then these chips were overheating and having cascading failures. And when the chip would finally break, the substrate was exploding out the bottom of the chip. And on top of taking out the CPU was bending pins on the motherboard socket too, because it would actually bulge on the bottom. It was a bit messy. Not a lot of this is going on. It's a pretty rare occurrence. But there was a handful of people reporting it on Reddit, and then Gamers Nexus was able to research and reproduce it. And then Jay from Jay's 2 Cents, he'd been requesting Asus motherboards for a build, and they sent him what was supposed to be a brand new board, and it had bent pins. They're like, "Oh, we're so sorry. We must have accidentally sent you an RMA board by mistake. We'll send you another one." And so they sent him another RMA board with more bent pins on it. And he'd had some problems with other Asus boards. There were reports that if he tried to do a BIOS update, the BIOS updates were failing and bricking boards on a fairly regular basis. I actually held my breath when I ordered my 5700X to replace my 2700. I had to flash the BIOS on my board, and everybody was reporting that, yeah, there's been some problems with BIOS updates on these Asus boards. But mine went through, I didn't have any problems, took the new chip right away. It's been really good. I haven't had any issues. I get a little bit of weird stuff, but when you're running dual operating systems, it's kind of to be expected. But Windows, my webcam hadn't been working for a while, and now all of a sudden tonight it didn't come up when I booted into Linux, which has been working fine under Linux. And now tonight's the first night I had a problem. I've tried unplugging it and plugging it back in, but all the rest of the USB peripherals seem to be working okay. I haven't tried printing or anything, but I don't need to print, so that's okay. But recent YouTube about Asus motherboard, and the YouTuber said he fired from ever talking about using them again. Yeah, that was Jay from Jay's 2 Cents. And Asus has had a reputation for being the premium brand. I'm fairly hardware agnostic. I've built systems recently with motherboards from MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock, and Asus. I don't order a lot of Asus boards because they tend to be a little more expensive, but my own personal board is an Asus B450 Gaming F. When I ordered it, it was on sale, and the ASRock board I would have bought instead was about $20 cheaper, but Asus is such a popular brand, I went ahead and spent the extra money on the Gaming F board because I knew if I went to resell my motherboard, CPU, and RAM, I'd get more out of the Asus board. People like them that much. It's like why people pay extra for NVIDIA cards that are slower than comparable AMD video cards. The RTX 3050 being a prime example. It gets curb stomped by the Radeon 6600, which is about $50 cheaper and way faster, but people still buy the NVIDIA cards, and it's like, okay. If you like a brand, you like a brand. It's not like I buy Pepsi when it's on sale. I keep drinking my Coke Zero, so. Like this one here.
Yeah, brand faithful myself.
But I've used NVIDIA and AMD video cards. I've used every brand of motherboard. I used every brand of hard drive. I typically buy Team Group RAM, but I bought the OLOY brand, the OWL memory, when I built my current system because it was on sale for cheaper. I mean, they don't make the RAM, they just assemble the DIMMs. I don't even know if they truly assemble the DIMMs. So it doesn't really matter too much which brand you use. And I've had cheap stuff work really well. I've had expensive brand name stuff fail. It's true in radio control. It's true in computer hardware. It's just luck of the draw. There's going to be a certain percentage of failure with any brand, and you think your brand is great right up until you get a failure, and then it's like, this is garbage. when their other 99 customers who bought the same thing are all completely happy. Ponton says, I just use MSI motherboards. There you go. Great company. They make good stuff too. I think my niece's computer I built for her with an Intel 10400F processor is on an MSI motherboard and coincidentally has an MSI NVIDIA GTX 980 video card. I got used on eBay, and that's been a great system. And then for my own system, I've got the Asus motherboard, the AMD chip, and I'm rocking an AMD reference board, my Radeon 6700 XT. But that was the board that I traded for. I didn't actually pick it out and buy it. But yeah, I'm pretty brand agnostic on video cards. I think my previous card, I bought my 5700 XT, was an XFX. And that's kind of considered a lower tier manufacturer for AMD, which I don't get. I've had other XFX cards. They've all been fine. So, Antler has an AMD Ryzen 5 with a RTX 3060. Good combination. Nice mid-range hardware, Antler. I'm glad you're happy with it. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's up with the webcam. Now, one thing I didn't try was moving it to a different USB port, and I'll try that real quick while I'm sitting here yakking. So bear with me, folks. Hopefully you'll be looking at an empty chair very shortly.
Let's hold thumbs.
Oh, and still nothing.
That is unfortunate.
Oh, you have just inserted a medium with digital photos? Oh, no, let's cancel that. I don't need that up. Okay. So, ironically, if it just happens that my trusty old Logitech C920 went belly up, I've got a brand new webcam sitting in my cubicle at work that I was probably given for home office use that I've never needed for anything. So, I can always bring it home and try it.
Your mic audio suddenly is a little fuzzy again. Over.
Mr. Kristoff. Good evening, Ringlords. Hello, Mr. Kristoff. So, you're hearing me fuzzy?
Yeah, you're coming through like overgained for some reason.
Let's check the volume again. It's just one of those nights. I thought about not streaming at all because we've got thunderstorms in the area.
Well, I unfortunately will only be with you for about another hour, hour and a half. Because of, guess what? Yeah, the joys of living in a klepto-ineptocracy.
Okay, I unplugged and replugged in the webcam, and it switched over to the webcam microphone. So,
That would be why.
yeah, not what I was hoping for. And that's weird. It says the output is the Yeti microphone, but I'm still hearing the game sound through the Jabra headset. I have no explanation for that. Okay. Yep, got no explanation. I do not know why. Mist Song says hello. Hello, Mist Song 99. Welcome. May I ask which server you guys will be playing on? I think we're on Crick Hollow tonight.
Yep, you're logged in on Crick.
Well, I said I think we, so I don't know what server Bacchus is logged in on. I'm hoping Crick Hollow.
Yep, I'm in game and in the Troll Shores.
All right. Well, I apologize for the lack of a webcam. We'll try to get going here anyway. I think I've got a solution for the webcam problem, though.
Get a Windows PC, a new one.
I have a Windows PC.
But have you got a new one?
Pretty new.
You'll laugh, speaking about cooking motherboards and that kind of thing. I literally cooked a laptop yesterday. Literally cooked a laptop. Came home from work, did some shopping on the way, put all the bags and so on the kitchen counter, including my laptop bag. And it's a small kitchen counter, so some of it ended up on the stovetop. And chiefly the laptop bag. And put all the shopping away, but I mean, I don't feel I need to like move anything, so I go through to the bedroom and I'm sitting on the computer and I hear what sounds like the stove plate tick. You know how they click when they heat every now and again? It's like, wait, I don't have anything on the stove. Go through to the kitchen and what do I find? But a big plume of smoke. Very, very smelly smoke. Very, very melty plastic smoke. And yes, the laptop was sitting on the top of an active stoveplate, and yeah, is no longer with us, unfortunately.
Was it an Asus notebook?
It was an Acer, actually.
Oh, an
Very
Acer.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people poo-poo Acer computer products. Acer actually OEMs notebooks for a lot of different companies. They used to have a whole line of separate components called A-Open. That was really good high-quality stuff. I liked it back in the day. But now they mostly just do OEM manufacturing.
Yeah. No, I was quite happy with the... it was one of those hybrid form factor that you could flip all the way around and use as a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So I quite liked it. And it is now no more, so I had to replace it quickly because I need that laptop for work on Monday, and yeah. Now I have a Lenovo, which I need to set up at some point over the weekend.
That's weird. Okay. Let's try this again.
Hello, Goofy.
And there we go. There's a proper portrait picture of Big Ed Mustafa. Okay, we can play.
It had some.
I'll have to sort out the webcam problem later. It's a little annoying. But by now you're all asleep or watching a movie or something anyway, so it shouldn't matter. Hello, goofy old lady. Who did I want to shout out tonight? Let's shout out Busy Beth, because she's awesome. If you're not following Busy Beth, shame on you. A lot of fun to watch. Streams LOTRO, streams some other RPG stuff. And just a great streamer. Always a pleasure to run into her. And I did not realize that our friend Toffee Swirl was also a LOTRO streamer. She was last seen playing Diablo 4. Loves LOTRO, loves RPGs. Throw her a follow if you're not already following Toffee Swirl. Check out her streams. I would shout out Bacchus, but he doesn't have electricity, so.
Yep, I haven't been streaming much.
We will shout out Mr. Christoph instead. He does a lot of retro computing stuff. If you've got any interest in older computers and vintage computers, Commodore, Atari, other stuff, check out his channel. Dang it, you beat me to it. You're always welcome, Mr. Christoph. He's also a IRL flying buddy of mine. And unlike Antler, he was at the air show last Labor Day. So, yeah, that's a thing. I haven't played on Crick Hollow for over a year, but I have characters on here. Cool. Good evening, Albert Popwell. Good evening, Zinger. So I've got a great story. I'm going to apologize in advance for those of you who heard it live on Wednesday. We're doing a new thing on Wildcard Wednesdays where the game we play is actually a wild card. We have a random picker website pick a game for us from a list of games, and we play whatever spins up. So Wednesday it happened to be World of Warships, and I'll give you guys the brief version of this story. I have not heard Mrs. Mustafa laugh in a very long time. It might be almost a year. She was sick late last summer. She wasn't feeling well on Labor Day at the air show, so Antler would have gotten to meet a tired and listless Mrs. Mustafa. She had to go and get foot surgery in October. The infection came back and she had to get another surgery in November. And that second surgery, she ended up with sepsis, which caused a heart attack. She's been in the hospital for the last 6 months. Getting the foot healed up, getting her strength back, going from sitting and just being bedridden to having enough strength to sit up to actually starting to walk again. And she's doing great. I expect to have her home probably at the end of June. That's kind of the goal we're shooting for. She's had a miserable 9 or 10 months, and she just hasn't laughed a lot. Well, I showed up with lunch for, I think on Tuesday. Might have been Wednesday. I don't remember. Was it? Did I say it was the same day? Wednesday? Might have been Wednesday. Let's say it was Wednesday. I took her fillet of fish, fries, and a drink. She loves McDonald's fillet of fish for some reason. Doesn't like fish sandwiches from other places. Only the McDonald's fillet of fish, which it's not that great of a sandwich, and it's overpriced. But anyway, I take her sandwich, and she's just in a foul mood, and she's like, "Where have you been? where's my food? I'm like, get me out of here. I'm like, do you want to go eat somewhere else? You don't want to stay in your room? Yeah, get me out of here. Okay, so I'm getting ready to roll her down to this dining room area that they don't use for much of anything anymore at the skilled nursing facility where she's been. And I'm like trying to walk around her wheelchair so I can get behind her and push her. And she's like, move faster. And she goes to swat me, hits me right in the nuts. Then she laughed. She laughed out loud. It was the first time I'd heard her cackle out loud in almost a year. That was the one thing that brought her true joy, was hitting me right in the jewels. So that's, if you're single, just that's married life in a nutshell right there. That's as
No
succinct. Yeah. Yeah, no pun intended. In a nutshell. That was inadvertent too. Yeah, I didn't even mean to say it that way. But yeah, if you ever want to, what's it like to be married? It's having a woman just punch you right there and then laugh about it. That's married life. I love her though. It wasn't that hard of a hit, and it was good to hear her laugh. So I suppose it was worth it at the end of the day. But yeah, that was what my Wednesday was like. That's okay.
And how's she doing today?
She's good. Actually, she had a terrific day. I went up to see her, and I talked my boss into letting me take my coworker out for a fairly pricey lunch. It's like, he's been working really hard. Let me take him out and buy him a lunch. So I got to take my company credit card out, and we racked up a hell of a bill. And then by happy coincidence, we had a couple of appetizers that were fantastic, a couple of salads that were fantastic, and my entree came out, and I was pretty full because we'd already had a lot to eat. But I'd ordered this Asiago crusted walleye, and it comes out, and it's on mashed potatoes with roasted vegetables around it, carrots, potatoes, both delicious. I take a few bites. I go to cut into the walleye, and the Asiago crust just comes peeling off. I couldn't hardly cut it with my knife, and it just comes out as one big, like a taffy made out of melted Asiago cheese. Doesn't stick to the fish. I'm like, that's no big deal. I don't know the cheese would have helped the fish. But walleye pike is a very delicate fish. It's delicious. It's often breaded lightly when served. This was not breaded lightly. This was breaded very heavily, and I was quite disappointed because it was a really good restaurant, and everything had just been fantastic. I'm just out wandering around while I'm talking and telling stories. You don't have to follow me here. So we were in the Trollshaws last I remember. I think I came back here to craft.
Get some crafting done. Yeah.
So why don't we go to Ostgaruth and we can head back out to the Trollshaws. Do you have a pocket hunter with you? Do you want to port us?
I do have a pocket hunter, and they do have the Oscar port.
Okay. So anyway, I wanted to complain about the food and see if I could swap it for something different. But then all of a sudden it was the middle of lunch rush and everybody was super busy, and it took me about 20 minutes to get anybody's attention. So by then I'm like, look, this walleye's very disappointing. The breading's just too heavy. I'd really just like something else. Let's go ahead and ride across. I'll mount up. And very nice. Oh, we're so sorry, sir. We'll take that off your bill. And this particular restaurant has one of Mrs. M's favorite desserts. They have a tiramisu that is really just, it's excellent. It's probably the best tiramisu in Omaha. And I ordered tiramisu, and I got one for my coworker because he's a coffee drinker. I'm like, you got to try this tiramisu. It's fantastic. And he's actually been to Italy before on work assignments. So he should know good Italian food when it hits him in the face. And I got, I replaced the walleye with this French Acadian chicken linguine dish. It was kind of a Creole chicken pasta, and they brought it out along with the tiramisu. So I took Mrs. M the pasta and tiramisu for lunch. and she's still in a foul mood. She's had allergy problems all week, a lot of coughing and sneezing, a lot of nose blowing. She's very frustrated by it, and it's the weather here has been crazy. We've had storm systems blowing through. It's been hot. It's been cold. The wind's been blowing a lot. Pollen count's up. Dust is up. So everybody's sinuses are just going haywire. Anybody who's got any kind of allergy problems in Omaha, Nebraska has been feeling it. And I'd taken her Allegra D. I'd taken her cough drops. I told the nurses, give her a Benadryl. If nothing else, it'll at least help her get some extra sleep. Maybe she won't be quite so cranky. I get up there and she's kind of fussy today, and she's like, what is this? It's gross. I'm like, it's Creole pasta from, I named the restaurant. And she was complaining before, this is a restaurant that I hadn't taken her to. And she got mad when I went there when I came to visit her in the hospital. She was away at dialysis. I went to this place for lunch months ago. And she told me I sucked because I ate there without her. So the restaurant's Spezia. It's not a big secret. Don't mind plugging the restaurant. It's normally fantastic, but my walleye was just disappointing. And for what we were paying, I did not deserve to be disappointed. And so I took her the pasta, I took her the tiramisu, and she's like, this stuff's gross. I'm like, well, here, try just the noodles. Because I took a bite of the chicken. It was fantastic. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I'd ordered this off the bat. This is so much better than that overbreaded walleye. So she ate some of the pasta, and then she was like, open the tiramisu, or open the cake. I'm like, okay. And I was laughing because, she still gets a little bit out of sorts and doesn't have the best memory because she was out for a couple of weeks. And she eats almost the whole tiramisu, and there's just a little bit at the bottom. And of course, tiramisu is normally ladyfinger cookies soaked in espresso with cake on top of it. That's one of the layers of the cake. And she's like, ugh, this is gross. It tastes like coffee. Honey, you're eating tiramisu. It's supposed to taste like coffee. There's coffee in it. I don't care. It's gross. I'm like, okay, but you still ate the whole thing. So she's trying to tell me how gross this was after she cleaned up the whole dessert. And it was a big piece of tiramisu. I mean, it was probably almost the size of like a 3x5 index card. And it was thick, too. I mean, it was a lot of cake. And she plowed right through it like Sherman through Georgia. It was pretty impressive to see. I just realized that's a Civil War reference that Bacchus probably has no idea what I'm talking about.
Nope, I did understand it because I actually have done a certain amount of reading of history.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Americans are very bad. The only history we know is our own. You start talking about most Americans about European history, and we're all like, what? What are you talking about? So I wouldn't take it for granted that anybody who doesn't live in America would have any idea about Sherman's march through Georgia.
Well, I don't know the specifics, but I did gather it was a Civil War reference.
Yeah, and it was basically like, how much of Georgia can we wreck while we're stampeding through here? It was very, I think vengeance-oriented, destructive would be a good way to describe how it was carried out. There were a lot of folks from the north who were like, we're going to make these rebels pay. Anyway, so Mr. Christoph says, I'm sorry, and that was awesome. Yeah, Mrs. Mustafa got quite the hoot out of it. So I bring her this big piece of tiramisu. I bring her this delicious pasta that she didn't hardly touch, which was okay. It's like, whatever. Eat it, don't eat it. It was supposed to be my lunch, and I was already full from the salads and appetizers and couldn't eat another bite anyway. And so just as she's finishing it up, our friends Jeff and Eileen show up, and they bring her a big bag of lightly salted popcorn, which is one of her go-to snacks. And so after she says she's not hungry and that the pasta's gross and that the tiramisu is gross, that she finished all of. She opens up the popcorn, and we're sitting there hanging out and talking, and she's eating popcorn and eating popcorn and eating popcorn. And then her friend Jim, who sang at our wedding, who was visiting from North Carolina, comes walking in the door, and he'd flown into Kansas City and gotten a rental car this morning. So he comes walking into the room, and he's got Joe's Barbecue from Kansas City, which is one of the top barbecue places in Kansas City. And he's like, I brought barbecue. And I was just laughing. I kind of left. I had to get back to the office while everybody was hanging out still visiting. And like, well, you guys make sure you get her back to her room along with her pasta and her popcorn and her barbecue. And they're like, yeah, we'll take care of her. I'm like, all right. So that was how her day went. She got fed like a queen. She had about an 8-course meal today. So she didn't get to hit me in the jewels again. That was probably disappointing, but everything else went pretty well for her.
I'm sorry, Ed. I'm just murdering everything inside. Would you like to stab stuff in the kidneys?
Nope, not at all. You keep murdering.
Cool.
I'd be content just going around and collecting the ore, particularly the platinum ore.
There we go. There's some right in front of you.
Oh, also, if you happen to run across it, I am missing the adamant bracelet recipe. So if you get any jeweler scrolls, send them my way, please.
Metalsmith, scholar, tailor. Oh, there we go.
Noldy is me, by the way. Oh, okay.
I had wondered who the person following us was. Do you want to join us, Antler?
Yeah, give him an invite. Antler, if you want to join us in voice chat, I'll re-permit you to the LOTRO chat.
Antler.
And oh, it looks like he's already got moderator rights. Yeah, you should be able to talk, Antler.
I'm talking.
Yeah, there you go.
Now
Perfect. All right.
Jabberjaw.
That's a good way to not be talking for much longer.
Hear me out, traveler.
Where are you now? I don't see you.
I'm right by the campsite. Forgot what it's called.
Harakan's camp.
Yeah,
Us too.
right at the bottom there. You're at the top of the hill?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Do we want to go fight the Whiskerback Diggers or just keep doing the landscape quests? What are we thinking?
I'm easy. I
Stolen
really don't
Stones? Let's do Stolen Stones.
Do I have stolen stones?
I
Apparently
can try
not.
sharing it.
Please.
I think I've already completed that quest.
Yep, you have. And neither of Bacchus's characters are eligible. Did you not talk to the folks at the last bridge?
Yeah, no, I did. I picked up the quest there.
That's weird.
Is this a follow-on from Trouble by the Last Bridge, maybe?
Yeah, Mist Song 99. We're upper 30s. I'm 39th, I think.
Let me pop back to the bridge and see if I can just advance the quest.
There is actually a stable master's horse from here to there.
Well, I'm already on the way.
All right.
Running's fun.
We're going to call Cave Claws.
Alright. I see platinum over here, Ed.
All right. Well, don't touch it.
Never mind.
Cause a nasty outbreak.
It's like Emperor Tiger.
I'm sorry, I thought that looked like platinum.
Oh, okay. No, platinum's black with silver streaks in it. My very first character, Galandriel, is a jeweler, and I've never lost platinum fever. It's not common, even when you're in areas where it should be. You just don't find a lot of it. Here's platinum up here, though.
Ed Missung is asking if they can join. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, you're welcome to join the group.
Just let me know your character name. Actually, you know what? I'm going to transfer leadership to Ed. So he can... Here we go.
No, we don't need to kill any stone hooves at the moment.
I do.
Zariel, okay. Well, we'll get you some, would you like to be summoned, Mist Songs? You're welcome. If you want to wrap up business in Angmar, you certainly can. Just let us know when you're ready and we'll toot a horn for you. Literally speaking.
I actually do have a couple of explorer deeds that I need to go through in the Garth of Garwin instances.
Okay, well, I'm up for whatever.
I mean, that's something that doesn't have to be done right away, so...
We're not that far away from there anyway. We actually came here from Lost Caruth, so it's not like we couldn't pop right back.
So, Antler, what's happening in September that you need to remember?
My birthday?
Wrong. Wrong answer. Wrong.
Try again.
I'll see if I can try and make it.
Well, don't try too hard.
I'm not even sure I want you there at this point, Antler. It's more fun making fun of you. But if you showed up, I can promise you'd probably have a really good time. And you might get to meet Mr. Kristoff in person. And Captain Zoid America could even show up, possibly. If he can leave his poor wife alone long enough and stop procreating so prodigiously. That's not an incentive. 6! He just had his 6th kid.
Oy, oy, oy. Well, he's having my ration for me, so I should say thank you.
There you go. And I was just laughing because he was so casual, but I was like, yeah, the baby's due soon. I'm like, you're having another kid? He's like, oh, didn't I mention it?
We should probably get ready for baby number 7.
Hopefully his wife will get a chance to catch her breath first.
Well, my aunt had 7 kids.
Big, old-fashioned Jewish stroke Catholic families.
My mom had 8 of us, Ponton says. I was joking with some friends of ours that they seem to have kids. In fact, I'm not even sure. They're on their 3rd or 4th baby, and I was like, aren't you guys worried that you're going to like get kicked out of the Catholic Church and get recruited by the Mormons? It was a lot of kids.
Well, I got Stolen Stones. So, did you guys finish that? Or...
Yeah, that's the quest line. I'm just a little bit ahead of you on it.
Okay, alright,
Antler's already finished it. And Mist Song is still in Agumar. So, like I said, if you want to get summoned to the Troll Shaws, just let us know, Mist Song. feel like I took a wrong turn and I'm heading towards the angle. Probably because I took a wrong turn and I'm heading towards the
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah, that's... Yep, I'm looking at them.
It's the fog effect will clue you in on that, yeah.
Yep, good clue. I'm a little foggy anyway.
I actually haven't done anything in the angle, so...
So, yeah, I was at work till 11:30 again last night. 14 and a half hours yesterday. So foggy is kind of my regular state of being. I was looking forward to the weekend, but my reward was to come home, pick up my nephew, and start working on moving again. Although we do have the kitchen almost completely done. I've got some dishes I need to walk across to the new apartment. But that'll be one room that's actually just about complete.
So what's left?
It's just, I'm still digging out. There's stuff in the dressers in the bedroom. I haven't moved my clothes out of the closet in the master bedroom yet. I've got to clean out the bathroom under the sink. I've got some of Mrs. M's clothes that are scattered about near her desk, and I think I've got all of her clothes mostly out of the bedroom. There's a big walk-in closet in the new apartment that's just jammed full of her stuff. You've killed mini cave claws. So runestone or light boots. Neither are particularly useful, but I'll take the boots. Feeding frenzy complete. Sir Waffle says, what day is the computer going to move? The computer will move with the bed. Those are really the only two essential things I need, is my computer and a place to sleep. Everything else is optional. Plus there's already a fridge with Coke Zero in it over there. But just cleaning off the computer desks, both her and me, our computer desks are just... Like, I've got my passport sitting here because I was trying to renew it, and I wanted to wait until I confirmed the new address on the lease. I've got the tax stuff I did from filing our taxes back in April. Old mail, rechargeable batteries, all kinds of computer peripherals. It's just a matter of sorting through everything is actually the big time consumer. Bed plus computer equals home. And yeah, Mr. Christoph confirmed that every time he's moved, he always slept wherever the computer was or wherever the Wi-Fi was. Computer plus bed equals home. That's a very true equation. All right, so Antler wants to go over to Agumar, and that's where Mist Song is. Or we could keep doing Troll Shaws and wait for Mist Song to want to be ported. What do you guys want to do? I'm up for anything. I'm just so happy to be not working at something.
Well,
moving is chore, work is chore, Mrs. Mustafa is chore.
Well, I have about 35 minutes left, so probably best to...
Fortunately, the Garth Garwin instance is our 3-man.
Okay.
Well...
All right, well, let's work some Troll Shaw's stuff, and maybe about the time
like I said, that
Miss Song pops up, we can move on without Bacchus, who gets to hang out alone in the dark.
Yep. You and me going fishing in the dark.
No, I'll be the one in the dark. You guys won't be in the dark.
Right.
Keep up, Antler.
I'm actually in the dark right now.
That's because you didn't pay your electricity bill.
Because I have the light. I keep the lights off in my house.
That's actually really bad for your eyes.
Just working on making bag space. Tell me about it. It's a full-time job with this game. But Antler and I'd be happy to come and help you with Agumar, or you can come to the Troll Shaws with us, whatever you want to do. Miss Song, just let us know.
So
Senpai Azure says, any tips for a new player? LOTRO is a great game. Take your time and enjoy the journey. I hadn't talked about it very publicly on LOTRO stream. I feel like as a LOTRO streamer, as a guest on Standing Stone Games channel, I try not to be overly critical, but anybody who watched me doing missions and delvings probably saw a lot of my frustration. And I talked privately about it with the guys on Wednesday. Well, not privately. I talked about it on stream. But I'd really kind of gotten frustrated to the point of being level 140, being at level cap in this game. There's nothing fun waiting for you. Do not be in a hurry to get to level 140 or when it becomes level 150. Huh?
Would you say Witcher 3 frustrated?
No, I wouldn't say it was that frustrating. It's grind for no particular benefit. They've got you trying to eke out these minuscule little potential rewards that may or may not come through by grinding delvings, grinding missions, doing a lot of tedious repeatables. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to get a few of these tracery upgrades or whatever they are. And as soon as they bump the level cap from 140 to 150, there's going to be a new area with new loot tables, and all of that stuff you've been grinding for is going to be useless crap again. I mean, there's no particular benefit to grinding it out like that. And I found the endgame stuff once we got through Gundabad. The problem with Gundabad was spectacular. Gundabad was vast. There's lots to see and explore. There's lots of quests, fun content. Gundabad was great. It's once you finish Gundabad, it was just painful. I thought missions were stupid, tedious, and boring. I thought the delvings are very poorly thought out, that they're tedious. They're just... There were a couple of them that they couldn't have possibly play tested. It's like, what were you guys thinking when you put this together? This is horrific. And I was just really not having a good time at level 140. And I told the stream on Wednesday that I'm so glad I dusted off Jasko and came back to these lower level characters, because I'm actually enjoying LOTRO and playing again. And playing even when I'm not streaming, I'll log in and do... I was on Jasko and doing daily task item turn-ins and crafted a bunch of new jewelry. That's how I noticed I was missing the bracelet recipe. I was doing that all off on stream just because I'm having fun playing the character and going back through some old content again. And, you know, if you've got quests, if you've got goals, it's a lot more fun playing LOTRO that way than when you're sitting at level cap waiting for the fall expansion to come out, and it's still May. And when the expansion does come out, I won't be able to play it for 6 months anyway, because it won't be in the store until it's actually been out for a while. So my apologies to Senpai. That is unnecessarily complex advice. But yeah, don't rush to level cap to summarize that whole rant. But frequent viewers to the stream will have probably recognized a lot of what I'm talking about there. Good starting character classes are Champion, Hunter, Guardian. All the character classes are viable. All of them are fun to play. It doesn't really matter what race your characters are to any great degree. There's
also a free-to-play guide that you did last year.
I'm on one of those characters right now, yeah. I did a series called Free to Play Fridays that kind of showed you the ins and outs of playing LOTRO without necessarily having to subscribe. It's a terrific game. It's well worth subscribing to. And if you do subscribe, it will maximize the enjoyable part of your game time. I spend a fair amount of time playing by myself and El Galadwin raiding. El Galadwin, if you're here, who am I supposed to raid when I'm done streaming? Shame on you, young lady. We've had this conversation before. You are my Friday night raid.
Shame.
I know. She must be busy IRL if she's calling it this early on a Friday night. But hello, El Galadwin, and hello, Raiders. I've been streaming too early. That's okay. We'll take a break,
She
get
must
some dinner,
have
and you
no
can
life.
fire up again later, and I'll raid you in an hour or two. Could be just the opposite, Antler. El Galadwin might have a real life, and she's just getting ready to go out and paint the town. But if you're not getting ready to go out and paint the town, you can certainly fire up again later, and we'll come by and say hi.
Yeah, Ed, I think I'm going to drop off the characters now. Leave you
All
guys
right.
to, yeah, but I'll stick around until my power goes off at least.
All right. I guess since you have power right now, I'll go ahead and shout you out.
Well, thank you, good sir. I will.
I might actually be going off too. I'm feeling a little tired.
Enter. No, what is that?
You get the rare and esteemed privilege of playing on LOTRO stream, and you're going to pass it up?
I actually do have to be to work at 8 o'clock tomorrow, so...
Fair enough. If you need to drop, you need to drop. Just don't be like Donnie and disappear without saying goodnight. You have to let us know that you're heading off. For those of you who don't catch my regular streams on my personal channel, our friend Donnie, who's a very sweet young man, has a habit of saying goodnight and letting me know he's getting ready to head off to bed about 45 times before he actually does it. So, that was kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke.
All right, thank you very much for the shout out, Ed.
You are welcome. So has your new investment in peripherals improved your Elite Dangerous play at all?
I don't even have it yet. It's going to be...
Oh, you're still waiting for it, okay.
I'm still waiting, yeah. They've got a, 4 to 6 week lead time. Wow. And let's... Where's my... Okay, I still need to... I'm on the little laptop at the moment. I need to get used to this. Where's my calendar? There's my calendar. Let's see. 1, 2... 3. So yeah, I've got at least another week to 3 weeks to wait before it even arrives. But it should improve things.
That's harsh.
I certainly hope it does for the amount of money I've paid.
Oh, I had a funny thing happen the other day. My work buddy and I stopped by a little Greek restaurant near the office called Feda's, and we were sitting there eating lunch. We got a couple of Euro platters and salads, and it was quite yummy. But we started talking Apex Legends, and a couple of guys were sitting one table over from us. They kind of like nodded, and they were like, Apex, and I was like, yeah. My coworker also dabbles in a little Apex now and then, and that was pretty funny. We were chit-chatting just a little bit. I let them finish their lunch, and I was like, well, how are you guys enjoying the new season? What do you think of Ballistic, the new legend? And they're like, yeah, we've been busy the last couple of weeks. We haven't had much of a chance to play, but been watching videos. It looks pretty cool. And that was pretty funny, just running into a couple people in the wild who we were talking video game stuff, and they were players also. Well, that's actually a funny story. I mentioned our friends Jeff and Eileen. Mr. Kristoff used to play LOTRO with his dad on a pretty regular basis back in the day. And we were hanging out together at the airfield. And Jeff was a new member. And I don't know, maybe he overheard us talking about games or computers or something. And just out of the blue, he goes, "Hey, you guys don't happen to play Lord of the Rings online, do you?" And we both kind of looked at each other as like, what are the odds of somebody walking up and even asking us that? And it's like, yeah, actually, weird coincidence, we both do. And his wife was all embarrassed because she was like, "Oh, don't tell people I play video games. I'm too old for that." And it's like, nah, we're both pretty old and we both play video games. I think there used to be a stigma attached to it that's just gone now. Everybody plays video games. You're weird if you don't play video games.
Yeah, the kids that grew up with a Nintendo are now adults and nudging towards grandchildren of their own. Never mind children.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the great things about LOTRO is the age variance is so wide. The books and movies are loved by kids and teenagers that are growing up today, but at the same time, it's like our friend Goofy Old Lady is probably an old lady. I don't think she picked that name because she's 19 and just doesn't want guys like Antler hitting on her. Although that would be a good reason to do that, I suppose. Then you've got, Ginger talks about her grandkids all the time, and, there's lots of folks that are mature. Even older than Freelancer, if such a thing is possible.
Freelance, like, particularly ancient, Methuselah.
I agree. You might have been born earlier than Freelancer, but you're not older than Freelancer. It's not possible. But you'll just run into fans of this game and fans of the books and fans of the movies of every age group. It crosses a lot of demographics. Dro Guy says, "How did Paint the Town come to be? Painting the town doesn't seem like much fun." That's a good question, Dro Guy. I don't know the etymology. So here's a fun question. Do you say Dro or Drow?
Drow.
I think we had this discussion one time, and it came down to the guy who wrote the Drista Erden books pronounced it Dro.
Well, he would know.
Yeah. Although he didn't create Dro elves, he just wrote about them.
Yeah. I don't know that there is actually. I'll have to Google that at some point. Not that I actually care anymore.
About Dro or Drow, or about Paint the Town? Where did the phrase
I think I'm a bit
Paint the Town come from? I can't ask Cortana because I'm on Linux tonight, but let's say, let's go dancing tonight and paint the town red. Did you know? This phrase was said to have originated in 1837 when the Marquis of Waterford and a group of friends painted several buildings red in a spate of merrymaking. Oh, there you go. It was literal. They went out and just painted a bunch of buildings red for giggles. According to Oscar Wilde, it's Dante. We are they who painted the world scarlet with sins. So it could be a euphemism for let's go out and sin to paint the town red. The boys painted the town red with firecrackers. That's from 1884. And again in 1897. The expression is American slang meaning to go on a reckless debauch, to be wildly extravagant. There's an old Irish ballad that contains the lines, "The Beacon Hills were painted red, with many a fire that night." There was some talk about drunken fox hunters painting some houses red to celebrate their hunt. It's not from the Marquis of Waterford at Melton Mowbray. Phrase was never used to describe the Mad Marquis until 50 years after his death. I don't know. It's not, am I dropping loot? No, I'm gaining loot. As long as it's not filling up my bag. So there's your answer. Nobody's really sure where it originated from. Gipio checking in. Hello, Gipio. Mr. Christoph says, I vote for drow as in ow. To drink so much to throw up on everything like paint. I remember us having a discussion about the pronunciation of drow elves a long time ago. And I don't remember. We found somebody who was... would have been, if it wasn't Gary Gygax, it would have been Salvatore. It was somebody like that. It was somebody who was heavily invested in the myth of the Dark Elves.
Alright, I'm gonna miss to bed.
Alright, Antler, I'm glad you got to hang out with me. I know it was a huge thrill for you.
Good
Wow,
night,
not even a
Antler.
retort. Yeah, who knew? So here we are. It's just me and Mist
me for
Song
about another
hanging
15
out.
minutes.
Okay, and Bacchus in voice chat. Glad you're still here. At some point, I'm just going to turn into a pumpkin right in my chair. But I need some game time. Actually, I jumped on the computer this morning to check a couple things, and instead of heading off to work, I actually zoned out for about 30-40 minutes and played a Linux game called Zero AD. That's basically like a free Linux version of Age of Empires. And I was like, oh, I should probably go to the office at some point. Fortunately, yeah, we had blissfully little nothing going on today, which is exactly what I needed to be going on. It's been a busy week again. Alright, so Mist Song, you have my full attention. We can work on whatever you want to work on. We've just been tramping around the troll shaws. I got a little bit ahead on quests. It's like I said, I'm actually playing even when I'm not streaming again, which is a good, healthy sign. LOTRO is a great game, but yeah, getting stuck at level cap and trying to amuse yourself while you're waiting for new content is not fun. Asa is fine. Mist Song seems so cumbersome. Well, if I weren't going, you know, I probably wouldn't have such a hard time remembering Mist Song.
Excuse me.
There used to be an old TV ad for a perfume called Wind Song by Prince Machiavelli. I don't know who Prince Machiavelli was supposed to be.
I must admit that doesn't ring a bell.
No. It's like, you mean Machiavelli's the prince? No? And who's Prince Machiavelli? I have no clue. Oh, we must have gotten our 4 trolls already. Defeated elk? Alright, Asa. What are you thinking? Well, there's something fluttering over here. A hawk? I guess we're good on bears and don't need to kill any. I can tell you, if we're going to complete Eyes of the Enemy, having a hunter who can actually track hawks would be handy. They are a bit spread out around here. This is a new area for me, so I'm just kind of mowing down what I see. Okay. One piece of advice I'd give you is don't walk past wolves. The moor stalkers are spread out. There's not a big concentration of them anywhere, nor do they respawn particularly fast. So you don't want to walk past a wolf if you like doing your slayer deeds. Definitely a completionist at my core. There we go, a player after my own heart. Oop, there's a wolf around here somewhere.
Excuse me.
Arid's up here, but he doesn't have a quest ring for me. So other advice for LOTRO players, particularly for... Oh, Ed's dumbass nephew is here. I'll hop on. What server was it again? We're on Crick Hollow, high level 30s. Senpai Azure. Yeah, it's just the best general advice I can give you is just take your time, enjoy exploring, try several different character classes. It's not about taking one character and getting them to max level. It's really just about enjoying the journey, exploring Middle-earth. One question that comes up a lot is what's the best server? And the answer is yes. All the servers have healthy populations. There's no real advantage or disadvantage to any of them except for a couple of very minor differences. If you're interested in player versus monster player, Arkenstone is the busiest for North America. Evernight is the busiest for European servers. Oh, here we go. Now we're on our way to Thorinhad. Perfect. And what I like to do is I'll create 4 or 5 characters per server and then use them to all craft for one another. I create what I like to call crafting circles, where you've got one of every vocation and they can share materials. And so every time a character levels up, you've got somebody who can make them jewelry, somebody who can make them armor, somebody who can make them weapons, somebody who can make them cloaks. Can make them crafting tools. Well, I think at one time there was a quest that brought you down there to collect something, but I don't remember now. And I certainly don't see anything glowing that needs picked up. As is mileage may vary. But there's a town up ahead where Elrond's sons are hanging out. We should probably go talk to them. Oh, hello, Narrowfind. I didn't get a chance to say hi to you earlier. My apologies. Narrowfind came over with the raid. Hopefully he's still around and heard my greeting. Completed. Eyes of the Enemy. But we should have some stuff to turn in Thorinhad. I think the bear pelts we collected, for instance. And there's probably more quests to pick up, and there's a stable master, and...
Greetings, traveler.
Completed blankets for the dwarves.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
I'm going to leave those 2 quests alone for now. I guess we could do some task item turn-ins. Boys and girls, do your task item turn-ins every day. They're good for you. You get item experience points, regular experience points, reputation points. You can get worsted experience points. You earn titles, you earn cosmetics. You can even earn LOTRO points by getting through your levels of task item completion. But most importantly, it helps get junk out of your bags. And it's way more fun than just vendoring the stuff. So do task item turn-ins every day.
And you need all the help you can get with fighting up your bags.
You are not wrong.
I am very, very not wrong.
So, I know I've got plenty of fine skin and fine fur.
It would be very nice if Windows included natively a SSD cloning utility.
Whoops, I forgot to start task at hand. That's okay. Alright, I'm at 9 of 9 for task item turn-ins. It's a happy thing. I did want to check the mailbox. And none of those sold. Interesting.
What do you need?
All right, Ezza, my apologies. I am in desperate need of another Coke Zero. I'll be right back. Oh, that's the stuff right there. I drank iced tea with lunch and dinner. I think that's my first Coke Zeros of the day. If you wait that long to get a Coke Zero, it's been a long day. I know Bacchus agrees.
Well, I'm more of a Pepsi drinker than Coke, but yep. I can appreciate that you do enjoy your Coke Zero.
Well, you guys do a lot of stuff the wrong way. Is South Africa a right-hand drive country?
Yes, the steering wheel is on the right-hand side of the car, where it's supposed to be.
And your water goes counterclockwise down the drain instead of the proper clockwise direction?
I'd have to check, but yes, the Coriolis force is a real thing.
You guys are just backwards about everything. You're on the wrong side of the road. Your water goes the wrong way down the drain. You drink Pepsi instead of Coke.
Well, I drink Pepsi instead of Coke. I'm not going to speak for the whole country.
You speak for all South Africans.
There would be a lot of very unhappy South Africans in that case.
Yes, there would. Well, I don't get to talk to my old friend Johan anymore, so it's up to you, Bacchus. You're my South African connection now.
There we go.
Arg, task item limits. Yeah, those are frustrating.
Well, you can spend a bit of mithril.
That's true. Hayes, I was going to ask if you do any fishing in game. Adoranel checking in. Hello, Adoranel. Welcome. Oh, here's an Elder Moorstalker. Again, we don't want to miss any wolves. They are spread out, and you have to kill a lot of these for the Slayer deed. I think it's 60 plus 120. You have to kill 180 of these wolves, and there's just not bunches of them anywhere. This is one of my favorite fishing spots out here in the Etten Moors. I love this little pool that's just beyond Thorinhead. So again, if you're not fishing Middle Earth, you're not truly exploring Middle Earth. Bacchus, are you still bitter that Riggs and Murtaugh took down a South African diplomat for using diplomatic immunity to commit crimes?
Of all the reasons I dislike Mel Gibson, that particular one doesn't actually feature. Or Murtaugh for that reason. I have other reasons for disliking the pair of them.
You should listen to your friend here. You do not want to move to South Africa. Yo, why's that, man? Because you're black.
You're black. Yeah.
No, it wasn't black. It was you're black.
Yep.
Which is why whenever I see Canna's name, I always pronounce it Cannablick.
I've heard one halfway reasonable South African accent in Hollywood, and that was what was his name? Leonardo DiCaprio. It was a bit overdone, but it was the least overdone Afrikaans accent.
You could tell he'd actually rehearsed it and practiced it.
Yep.
Was that Blood Diamond? Conflict
Blood Diamond.
Okay.
Yeah,
Never
Blood
actually
Diamond,
saw the movie.
It's actually fairly decent. Yeah, the Hollywood tends to exaggerate the Afrikaans accent or the South African accent. There's that little bit. It turns it into a caricature rather than anything. But Leo did a reasonably decent job with it.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor.
I will be honest, I could not stand him as an actor for the longest time. It was, what movie of his did I watch that I actually went, you know what, this guy's actually quite good again. It wasn't Inception. It was before Inception. But for the longest time, it's like I couldn't watch any of his movies. He just annoyed me.
You were pretty torn up. You wouldn't reply back to any of your fan letters. I do feel bad about that for you.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to deal with that kind of disappointment.
Ooh, I caught a golden trout. Titanic. Gipio says he fell in love with Leo during watching Titanic.
Actually, that was one of the least offensive ones.
Baka spends a lot of time alone in his home, clinging to a door, going, "Stay with me, Jack, stay with me," imagining he's Kate Winslet.
Oh, for crying out loud. Why tell me I could... I'm about to start swearing.
Well, just don't do it on LOTRO stream.
I'll try not to.
We are keeping it classy here. Give or take an occasional story about my wife hitting me in the nuts. Yeah, we are classy adults.
I still have that. Well, Ed, I am about 3 minutes away from my power going off, so I better drop off now before it happens unexpectedly.
All right,
Thank you very much
Bacchus.
for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have a good one, bud. We'll talk to you again soon.
Will do. Unfortunately, same again for like tomorrow and Monday. I'll have to drop off early out of the streams, but yeah, I should at least be able to join you for a while.
All right,
So in
sounds
the meantime,
good.
Have a good one. Take care, chat. See you again next time. Cheers.
Well, now I have loot timing out. I'm okay with that. I think I was mostly just losing chests. Since they're not selling in the auction house, I don't even want them. Well, I did get a trout, and my fishing skill is up to 66. Which ain't bad. I'll try to catch up with Azza here. Do they ever sell in the AH? Yeah, I have sold some. The Traveler Steelbound loot boxes aren't as desired. If you get the Adventurer Steelbound loot boxes, the ones that are high level, apparently those sell pretty regularly for a gold piece or two. Credit to Zinger for cluing me in on that. A lot of people have them filtered out, but they improved the loot table on them. So a lot of people are interested in collecting them again. Or some people, I should say, not necessarily a lot. Titanic is good. I always found it interesting that the musicians actually played as the ship sank to comfort others rather than save themselves. Not made up movie thing. Nope, that was real. In fact, there was a movie in the late 80s, early 90s called And the Band Played On. It was actually about the AIDS crisis, but they were using that as a metaphor about the band playing while the Titanic sank. The reality was there were no lifeboat slots for the musicians, so they weren't going to get on the lifeboats, and they knew it. So they really didn't have anything better to do but to just play. Lisa and I just watched that again last week. Rora checking in. Hi, Rora. You got to start coming by Wednesdays, Rora. We started doing the random gaming thing, although it was warships. Were you by on Wednesday? I'm sure I said hi to you. Yeah. It's been a long week for me. I can't remember if Rora was by Wednesday or not. We also made up a new rule that if a game gets picked, it can't be picked again for 2 weeks. So the third week it's eligible again, but for the next 2 it won't be World of Warships. So if you hate World of Warships, I saw Antler had the chance to veto it. Yeah, and he chose not to. Which was okay. He was like, I'll just go play something else. But it could be Path of Exile, it could be Rocket League, could be Among Us, could be high LOTRO level, it could be low level LOTRO. We don't even know. Then it was funny, I think Star Trek Online got mentioned, and it was like, oh, I have Star Trek Online installed. Why is this installed? People found out they had the game and didn't even remember it. It's like, okay. Ed's dumbass nephew says, Rocket League! I'm going to go try to catch up to Azza. There we go. Oh, one of the things that these worms drop out here is smooth scales. And it's kind of interesting. I'm going to get sidetracked again. So it says that these can be turned in on the in the troll shaws, for tasks in the troll shaws. If you go to the housing area and look at the level 30 to, or what is it, 31 to 40 board, they're level 35 task items. There's no turn-in for smooth scales. I haven't been able to figure out, are those actually able to be turned in? Is that a typo? Did they forget to add them to the boards? I have no idea. James Cameron has 3 of the highest grossing films ever made. Yeah, but if 2 of them are Avatar, should he get credit for that? One of the things I liked about the Titanic was you knew what was going to happen, but it was still a compelling movie, which I thought was pretty good script writing. And of course my muse Kathy Bates was the unsinkable Molly Brown. Another amazing fact, Molly Brown was on the Titanic when it went down, and then she was on the Lusitania when the Lusitania got torpedoed by a German U-boat. That poor woman, that's why they called her the unsinkable Molly Brown. She was actually on both cruise ships when they sank, and survived both. Smooth scale should be turned into ECAD Candleth. Okay, I'm glad there's a place to turn them in. Why are they not on the task boards in the housing area? That's stupid. As long as I'm complaining about missions and delvings, I'll complain about that one too. Still, no film has passed Gone with the Wind yet, along with its adjustments for inflation over the years. Gone with the Wind is a really terrific movie. I mean... I have it on DVD. I have Citizen Kane, Lawrence of Arabia. I have Gone with the Wind. I have a lot of good classics. Lawrence of Arabia is really good. It's long. You need to pop 2 bowls of popcorn if you're going to sit down and watch Lawrence of Arabia. Old school musicals I enjoy, and I'm not even what one would consider a huge musical fan. One of the things I have done, and I'm going to miss having the DVD service from Netflix, is every year I go through the list of Oscar nominees, and I put them all in my rental queue. And I've done that for a number of years, and I've watched a surprising number of movies that I've enjoyed that I probably would have never rented had I had not done that, including a number of musicals. I thought the musical Chicago was very good. I enjoyed Moulin Rouge. Hated Les Mis. I thought Les Mis was just a waste of 3 hours that I would never get back. It was just so ponderously boring. But even animated features... So hopefully Avatar 2 doesn't get Oscar nominated because I don't want to have to sit through that. In fact, I think I took Ed's dumbass nephew to go see the original Avatar in the theater. I just thought the best description I've ever heard of the original Avatar was Fern Gully 2.0. Which when I read that, I laughed quite heartily. It was just overly simplistic. It was childlike in the messaging, and however good the visuals might have been, it was not entertaining. It was too dumb. Herky Man checking in. Hello, Herky. Forbin Kid said, I was on a DVD rental too, but the mailman took the DVDs, so they canceled my membership. That's no good. You are not following our friend Hercumad. Shame on you. Go throw him a follow. Subscribe to his channel. Put him in a higher tax bracket. Whatever you need to do. Miss Song needs to step away. Okay, Asa, we'll see you when you come back. We're done with bears. Yeah. Ponton said, I recently read Netflix is no longer doing DVDs by mail anymore. Honestly, I didn't know they still did that up to 2023. Yeah, I've been joking that I must be like one of the last customers. In fact, I finally just got Disc 3, Season 8 of Game of Thrones today. I will get to finally watch the end of the series. I had boycotted watching it because nobody I ever talked to liked how it ended. I think Bacchus's description was, yeah, Season 8 was kind of going along okay, and then they're like, oh wait, we all have something better to do. Let's wrap this up. So I'm guessing this last disc is going to be pretty abrupt. But I'd seen enough spoilers on YouTube Shorts that I was like, oh, I think I kind of already know how most of this ends up. I may as well go ahead and watch it. I think Asa might have poured it away. Yeah. Well, the advantage if you have the DVD service and the streaming service, stuff that Netflix can't stream, you can just add to the disc queue and watch it that way. You don't have to have 10 different streaming services. I mean, I know more people who cut their cable to, you know, oh, I hate paying my cable bill, and then they're spending even more money on different streaming services throughout the month. Like, yeah, we got Hulu and Disney Plus and Showtime and HBO Max or HBO Go or whatever it's called, and I've got YouTube and I've got Sling. It's just like, how much are you spending on streaming services? Oh, they all go down at the end. I really liked The Sopranos and enjoyed it quite a bit. And it got to the point where they released season 6, the last season, in 2 parts. And I watched season 1 and I wanted to watch the rest of it so much. Instead of waiting for the discs to come to Netflix, I just went out and bought the retail box DVDs for season 6 part 2. And I bought the only crappy part of the show. That second part of season 6 was terrible. It was just stupid how they ended the show. And I'm not just talking about the fade to black while the family's eating in the diner at the last episode. I mean the idea that Dr. Melfi would be working with Tony for 6 years and then read something in a journal that tells her she's wasting her time, so she decides, oh, this one journal article must be right. I'm completely wasting my time with this guy. And just cut him off. It was like, really? Is that really a thing? I've known psychologists and psychotherapists, and they're all so egotistical. I don't know a single one that wouldn't disregard that. Oh, I know better than this. And they'd keep on treating the patient. when I say I know a lot of them, they haven't treated me. I have dated their daughters, or stepdaughters, as it were. Which, boy, you want to talk about a tough vetting process. Try dating a psychotherapist's daughter. So, Ed, where are you going with my daughter? Uh-huh. And if you could be any kind of tree, what kind of tree would you be, Ed? And what do you see when I show you this picture? I'm not sure how to answer that. Adoranel agrees with me about The Sopranos. So I still have Sopranos Season 6 Part 2 sitting out on my DVD shelf waiting to be packed away. And it's like, why do I have this awful show? Salad dressing, Ed. What kind are you? I only let ranches and blue cheeses date my daughter. I want to hear more about the psychotherapist, Dad. I won't reveal a whole lot, but one girl that I dated, her mom was a psychologist and her stepdad was a psychotherapist. And actually they loved me. They thought I was terrific. Gore checking in. Hello, Gore. Mr. Kristoff says, of course, I just got done watching 6 Feet Under where one of the characters' parents are both therapists. Man, that made it seem like hell on earth. Well, you just missed Bacchus, Gore. He had to log off because he's expecting his power to be getting shut off here momentarily. Hope you're having a good Friday, my friend. Is this Gladden already? No, this is my free-to-play Fridays account, and we're on Crick Hollow tonight. I've been playing a burglar the last few weeks on LOTRO stream. Jasko's level 39. Actually, looks like he's pretty close to 40 now. Yeah, one of the options for Wednesday, Wildcard Wednesday, is low-level characters on Gladden, which I just picked randomly so we could be on a North American server. One of the problems we've had playing on Evernight on Wednesdays is, like, we're the only North Americans on there. Well, we're not the only North Americans on there, but if we're trying to do raid content, all the European players are all still sleeping because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's really hard to get people to join us for raid content. We've been stuck on Remmerkant. We haven't been able to do some of the newer 12-man content. And it's just been tough because, you know, Some of the stuff you just can't do with 5 or 6 guys. Ooh, excuse me. You need a little more help. Did they make the troll shaws easier? Yeah, they did a lot to improve the troll shaws, actually. New stable masters, easier travel points, more swift travel, even if you're free to play. More quests, more landscape repeatable quests. So it's not such a grind to try to finish up rep and things. You get rep for the troll shaws in Aragian, so it's not like it's that difficult anyway. But I don't know. Apparently some people felt the need. So. Has anyone picked a class yet? I'm thinking I should finally learn Warden. No, I don't even know that we've created characters yet. The idea or the suggestion of Gladden is just a suggestion at this point. But if you want to go ahead and roll up a Warden and claim Warden, go ahead. Warden is fun to play. In fact, I have a Warden on this account on this server. Cerealia? This particular glade I just walked through. These are the 3 trolls from The Hobbit who got turned to stone, arguing over what to eat while Bilbo Baggins tricked them. It's a Stone Trolls Glade. I just feel like I would have died running around up here before. If you get to the spider area, that's where you'll die. Maybe not as a hunter. A hunter might be able to solo that on level. But it's very challenging. There's a lot of spiders. They have a lot of health. They hit very hard. This must be the Troll's Cave. This is where Bilbo hid his trunk of gold. And he picked it up on his way back from the Lonely Mountain. Quick hint, if you're playing Burglar, if you stun your opponent, move around behind him. You get bonus damage for flank or rear attacks, even if you're not using your special skills. So when I noticed I actually got the stun on him, I went ahead and swung around to the rear. More damage stabbing in the back? Yes. Aurora agrees the spiders in the troll shaws suck. You are not wrong, Aurora. So I think I'm in yellow line at the moment. Do I have coup de grace up? Do I have coup de grace at all? Maybe that's the question I should be asking. Well, I got a point to spend. No, I do not have coup de grace yet. There's Azza. Welcome back, sir. If you're late to the stream, I am having problems with my webcam tonight on Linux. I don't know why. Mr. Christoph's heading off. Have a good night, all. Good night, Mr. Christoph. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk later this weekend. Take care, and all of my best to your missus. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see you guys out at the flying field soon. I bought a whole case of nitro fuel. I'm hoping to start burning some of it up. I already had 2 gallons in the garage, so I need to really get some glow planes out and do some flying. Plus, if I crash them, that will make more room for me to buy new planes, which will be nice. I'm trying to attack this rich dwarf iron. I don't think it works that one. As I'm going to add you to my friends list. I am just past the 2-hour mark now. I need to call it. I've got a long day ahead of me tomorrow. Plague of cave rats? Yeah, we can do that real quick. I missed it if you want to reshare it. I was getting ready to click accept. Yeah, go ahead and share the quest. We'll knock them out real quick. But I'm in the middle of moving on top of everything else I've got going on. 60-hour work weeks and visiting my wife in the nursing home. And there's a whole number of them, but if you need to go, that's okay. All right. Yeah, enjoyed meeting you. Hopefully we'll get a chance to adventure again. Bacchus and I have been playing on Crick Hollow on Friday nights pretty regularly for a few weeks now. And, yeah, if you're around next Friday, just come by, say hi, and we'll go do some stomping around. And hopefully Bacchus will have electricity for more than 90 minutes next week. Thank you. But I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. You guys don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Let's see who we can go raid. Larry Enna is playing LOTRO. Celestia, Elder Scrolls Online. 7 Heroes playing Diablo 4. We've got a lot of old friends on tonight. Herkymad's playing and streaming LOTRO. He actually stopped by, so we'll probably go say hi to him. I'll shout out a few people. 7 Heroes, a long-time LOTRO streamer. I used to enjoy watching him play that LOTRO, and still like to pop in and say hi to him. Great guy. If you're not following him, if you haven't watched the 7 Heroes stream, go check him out. Celestia, I haven't seen her playing a lot of LOTRO lately. Am I just missing her? Does anybody know? Is she mostly on Elder Scrolls Online these days? He's AFK at the moment. That's okay. Pop by and say hi to him later. Aurora, I'm going to ask you not to tell him I said anything nice about him. I don't want him getting a big head. I'm just kidding. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun to hang out with. So Celestia is playing Elder Scrolls Online tonight. And Larry Enna is another variety streamer who also streams LOTRO pretty regularly. He does Star Trek Online. He does Fallout 76. Probably a few other things. You can certainly go say hi to Larry Enna. Tell him Big Ed sent you if you'd like. But since Herkymad was nice enough to drop by, we're going to go raid Herkymad. That's his reward for being friendly and stopping by. Have a great week. I'm making hand signs to the camera. Camera's not working. I'll get the camera straightened out for next time, I promise, even if I just have to bring a new webcam home. Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. I should be on my personal channel tomorrow and Sunday. Come by and say hello. I've been missing Tuesday nights because I've been working late. We were doing a big cabling project, and rewiring switch closets at the office. And I've got 12 of the 27 switch closets done, so I'll be at it for a little while yet, but that's okay. If the worst thing that happens is you guys don't have to watch me play Apex on Tuesdays, that's really not a bad thing. But have a great weekend. Get out and enjoy some fresh air and sunshine. Don't spend the whole weekend in front of your computer. I need to kill a troll, and then we'll talk to you guys again soon. Oh, Portland Azzo is here watching my back. Thank you. I suppose the smart thing to do would be just go ahead and deport someplace safe, so we'll do that. I'll just pop to my house. Azza, have a great night. Good talking to you, and hopefully you'll be playing some more LOTRO again. And I think I was trying to start the Herky-Mad raid. Maybe I didn't start the Herky-Mad raid. There we go. That troll just got me all messed up. Okay, let's go raid Herky-Mad. Go over and say hi. Show him some love. Throw him a follow. If you think he talks a little weird, it's not a speech impediment. I think he's from Finland, if I recall correctly. It's one of those Nordic Scandinavian countries. Great guy. He's actually helped us out on some raid stuff on Wednesdays occasionally. And one of my favorite things to do is to raid him. We normally get a big jump scare out of him, so hopefully that happens this time too. Let's go watch Herky-Mad jump, and I will talk to y'all later. Take care, everybody.